7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The Savachi syndrome, I'm telling you, I'm
like, well, holy shit, that was crazy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the Moto Aftermath Show presented by TLR Coatings. This week we are on vacation.
We're in the Bahamas.
It's an off week. So we are here doing our Q&A show. We're going to set the computer up here to read the questions off. However, we are having a downpour. I have satellite internet and yeah, we have no internet on the computer. So we are on this handy dandy iPhone 10 that I would not recommend anyone buy because they have a lot of issues. Yeah, so let's...
So bear with us, guys. It's going to be a little bit
It's going to take a little bit here, but let's get into this here first. First question from Luan? Luan?
I think
it's
Luan.
It's like Juan, but with an L. From Brazil, which I have talked to him a little bit. Who is the fastest but most unsuccessful rider of all time? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different guys. I mean, I know that even in this one, he says, I think that people go with Jason Lawrence and stuff, but it kind of goes perception versus reality because a lot of these kids, like, they have these idea that they're going to win championships. I mean, you've had guys like Mike Kudrowski, Damon Bradshaw, you know, Brian Johnson, Josh Grant. You know, people would even say Davey Millsap's never really lived up to his hype. Yeah. But if I'm going to go with probably the fastest pure speed but didn't win anything, I think you got to go Josh Grant. There's a lot of different guys I could go from back in the 90s, like Charlie Bogart and all these things, but I'm trying to stay relevant. Think about it. Josh Grant, dude was highly touted, came out. His first ever national, he ripped a whole shot and led for 22 minutes, kind of like a la Zach Osborne, except he didn't fade. He just wasn't fast enough. But he never won a championship. All the years he's been doing this, I think he's going on his 13th year when he comes back, whenever that is. And he never won a championship. He competed for him. You know, he's raced some of the best in the world. And sometimes we considered him one of the fastest guys on the planet, pure speed, sprint speed, but he's never won a championship. I mean, he's been up there. He's battled for probably the most recent one. It was 2009 Outdoors when it was him, Chad Reed, and Ben Townley, but JG's never won a title, 250s or 450s, and I mean, he's had factory ride year after year after year, and you get to a point where it's kind of hard not to disagree with that. I mean, Davey Millsap's at least won a championship. It was one, but you got to think, if you win a championship, you're still having a somewhat successful career. And JG has, but he's never won a title.
What about Michael Lessie?
Michael Lessie, though, was kind of... At least Michael Lessie was at least close to winning championships. JG really never has been.
I guess. But, I mean, dude, highly touted amateur, came out, guns a-blazing, and, yeah, should have won titles, but just never did. I mean...
But when you're racing Ryan Villapoto, it's also very hard to do.
Well,
I mean, I can't disagree with that either because, you know, we had Believe the Hype and he came out in his first national, same thing. You know, he got third at his second national, you know, in 03. But at least with Mikey, though, for a while, he was competing for championships. If you really think about it, JG has never really been close. I mean, JG's had good starts. He's had good starts at championships. He's won motos. I don't think he's ever won an overall in the 450 class.
You know who my answer is going to be? Trey Kennard.
But Trey won championships.
I guess. But only 250 ones. He
won
a 450 title.
Well, he also got hurt a lot, too. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I don't think Jason Lawrence is a good one because J-Law won a championship, and J-Law, every year that he was healthy, he competed for titles. So I know that everybody goes, oh, J-Law because he was a screw-up. But J-Law, in his defense, even though I'm not a Jason Lawrence fan, like, he was beating the best in the world in the 250 class for a long time.
Yeah.
He just, you know, he flamed out. Josh Hill's another one you could put in there.
Yeah, you could, because he was really good, too.
I mean, that you want to talk about one of the most naturally talented dudes, at least on the motocross side of things, to ever throw a leg over a dirt bike. There's a lot of different guys, but I think I'd have to go with JG.
Okay, all right. Not
Stick
a
with
bad
the
answer.
Lessie?
Not a bad answer.
Stick with the Lessie?
God, I don't know. I toss around too many in my head. We'll just go with JG. JG is our answer.
Okay.
JG is our answer. Next question from Christian Anderson. Related to Jason Anderson? Hope not. As much shit as we talk about him on this show.
I know, right?
Who is the oldest rider to win an outdoor MX title?
What?
Do you know this?
I think it was Doug Henry in '98. I think he was 29 years old. Because Carmichael's
sounds right.
Carmichael's won one at 26. Grant Langston won one at 27. Chad Reed won one at 27. But there's a reason why guys don't really win championships in the 450 class after 30 years old.
Yes.
So I would think, I think it was Doug Henry in 98. Like I said, I think he was 29 years old. So
that sounds right. I don't know. We can't look it up because I ain't got the...
Well, and you got to go back a long time because things were different back in the 60s and 70s. There were guys that were a lot older than they are now. So I think it was Doug Henry.
I might not be tired one day when we do these. All right, next we got two questions.
Got a two-parter. Oh, a twofer.
From Mitchell T. Do you think Eli Tomac will be considered the next elite of the sport?
No. Wow, that was almost on point.
That was really...
Go ahead and explain yours first.
He can't put it together enough. Like, he's won the 450 outdoor title, and he is faster than hell. But until... He would have to be on a... The way he rides, he would have to be on a Stewart level of... He would have to win at least a couple of Supercross titles, a few outdoor titles. He'd have to go like a 24-0 season and just win, you know, tons of Supercross races where he's way up there on the list before he can be considered that. But where he is right now, no. I mean, he's elite for the current riders, but he is not elite status with the rest of them. He's
26 right now, right? 26?
That is correct.
Okay, 26 years old. He has a total of 3 championships. James Stewart, by age 26, had 7. Ricky Carmichael had 15. Ryan Villapoto had 10. Ryan Dungey had 8. I mean, I understand Eli's had a string of injuries, especially in 15, that really hurt him outdoors with the shoulders and stuff, and then he never really regrouped until the end of 16. But, no, like, let's be real, he's probably only going to race for another maybe 4 years into to age 30. Because, I mean, I think everybody kind of gets this mixed up. Like, Chad Reed, what K-Dub did, and what Justin Brayton, they're outliers. Like, guys don't race past 30 years old because 3 different reasons. Either A, you've either been doing it for so long that you're mentally and physically burned out. B, you've already got all the accolades that you think you want to achieve, or you've already made enough money where you don't need to keep racing.
Yes.
As much as I, get on Eli's case and stuff because I see how great he is and all the stupid mental mistakes, he's too old, which is crazy because 26 is not even old. But like I said, when you're talking about the elite of the elite, guys were already his age and they'd already won over 6 championships. He's not going to do it. And now we're talking about all these elite guys coming up from the 250 class. As you get older, your body doesn't regroup quick enough. At some point, he's going to level off.
Yep.
And there's just no way. Now, maybe he wins 2 or 3 more championships before he retires. Dude, he's still going to be 50-some wins off of Stewart and 100 off of Carmichael, and it's not even going to be close. So, no. As much as Eli, as talented as he is, and this, this win streak that he's on right now, he would basically have to win out for the next 4 years.
Yes.
And we know that's not going to happen.
Yes.
So...
okay, and the second part of that question from Mitchell T. Do you think Osborne can compete against a healthy, stacked 450 class? I personally think he'd be a 7 to 10 guy. I think that's a little optimistic-ish. I'm going to say a 8 to 15 guy against a stacked field.
Okay.
Okay? Which is what this is, a healthy, stacked 450 class. So you got to figure then he's got to compete with Barsha, Tomac, Kenny, Anderson, Marv, Baggett,
when Coop comes back, Dino, when Weston's healthy, Bogle, JG.
There's just a lot. Well, let's not put.
Well, I'm
not worried about JG. Let's not put Bogle.
Well, the only reason I give Bogle a little bit of credit is because he did win an overall last year outdoors.
Well, that's true.
But once again, we don't know because he can't stay healthy. So yeah.
But we are talking. Isn't that a Supercross? No, that doesn't say Supercross. That just says anything. Yeah, I mean, I think. If he stays the course, like maybe his second year, he'll be able to be a consistent top 10 guy because we're gonna have some more dudes fall out here, obviously. But yeah, I don't think next year it's gonna go super awesome. I think it's gonna go okay, but not super awesome. And I've told you we've had discussions on the group chat of if he gets to the point where the field's as depleted as it is this year, do I think he can get in the top 5? Yes.
I think he has a better shot of doing it in Supercross if he was going to get top 5s. I think it would be Supercross because even though, like, I think people forget this, he won the outdoors last year by such a big margin, but we've been over it. But he's been more successful in Supercross. Grant, yeah, he has 2 titles compared to 1 outdoors. But if you look at just how he performs on a week-to-week basis, he doesn't have these ebbs and flows in Supercross where he did only win 3 this year, but he either won or got 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
Outdoors, he's had races these last 2 rounds where he's either winning or he's 5th, 6th, so on and so forth. But I think that when Zacho's 100%, I will give him a little bit more credit. I think that he can be on the level of a Dean Wilson and Weston Pike. But the problem is that, and I won't get super complex with this, but his technique does not fit a 450. You see him what he does on the 250F, where he manhandles the bike and he just relies so much on the power and the inertia of the bike. In the 450, you can't do that. I mean, you have to be a bigger guy, and let's be real, Zacho is a strong guy for his size, but he's not as strong as somebody like Dean Wilson. He's not as strong. He sure is not as strong as somebody like Weston Pike, Eli Tomac, when Ken Roczen's healthy. So I think you're going to see the first year Zacho probably landing on his head quite a bit until he gets the grasp of the bike and just gets everything dialed in. But then once again, you're looking at the age thing. Like, how much longer is Zacho really going to race? I mean, he's going to be 30 next year, you know, and I can't see Zacho racing until he's 35 years old because of his style. Now, he's like Brayton's a super smooth poetry and motion guy. Zacho uses a lot of energy, and eventually that's gonna wear you out. And I don't know how much longer Zacho races. I mean, maybe 31, 32, but then at that point, like, is he even going to be close to top 10s? Because he's going to be older. So I think Zacho can do well, but I'd have to agree. I think the first year it's going to be 8 to 15. I think he'll have flashes of brilliance because, you know, his speed is great. But man, I think it's going to be really hard pressed to see him being above the group of Dino and Weston and Cole Seeley, even if Cole even comes back. So no, there's no way he's not on that level. I would be surprised if he even sniffs that level. Come outdoors. Maybe Supercross, but not outdoors.
Okay. And looks like the last question I got on here for 2 weeks ago when we put this out there. This is from the Borden Asylum.
Nice name, by the way.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Is that like an inside joke?
It's got to be.
Okay, great. My question for the Q&A, and you don't want to answer this, so I'll just read it and then I'll answer it. What do you both think needs to change in regards to making racing safer? Do the AMA and OEMs bring back two-strokes in pro racing? No, everybody can fucking stop. It's not a thing. Or is it the tracks? The last 12 years have seen improvements in riding gear, knee and neck braces, boots, helmets, but even that stuff only goes so far when you hit the ground at 50 to 65 miles an hour. I will totally agree with you. Here's my thoughts on how to make racing safer. First off, I was listening to a podcast that we did with Cole Seeley the other day, and Cole said that the tracks can be tweaked to make them safer as it is right now. There just needs to be more thought put into it, which I totally agree with. There are definitely things, I mean, you could stretch some stuff, some points between jumps, make it still racy, and make it so that they can't do a quad in it because they're not going to be able to do a 120-foot quad even on a 450. That brings me to the other part in which I think they need to make it safer is the 450s in Supercross need to go away. They are the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Riding a stock 450, even as an amateur in an open field, is the most ridiculous thing ever. I remember the first time I threw my leg over a 450 was 2 years ago, three years ago? Maybe it was 3. No, it might have been 4 by now. I don't know. But sometime in the last like 5 years. And I went riding around the yard only to realize that those things are just stupid rut machines. And this is a bone stock 2003 CRF 450. So you know how good that bike is compared to the new ones. So I think they need to have the, I guess you call it MX1 class or 450 class for Supercross needs to be a 250 mod class. The 250 class needs to be a 250 stock class and also a feeder class, I guess you would call it, where all you can change is your suspension on it, but everything else has to stay stock. You know, I mean, obviously do wheels and stuff, but you can't do a big motor package and everything. And that is what I think they need to do to make this safer. That's the only way you're going to make it safer. You can't control the ECUs because the AMA doesn't have enough power over it. You can't. It's not like Formula One racing where they have gazillions of dollars and they can test all this stuff, and then the actual, you know, whoever sanctions the Formula One racing has money to actually do anything. So that is what needs to happen to make racing safer. Let's make Supercross great again. But if anyone continues to throw out the two-stroke thing, you're a fucking idiot, because as much as I am a fan of two-strokes and I do like them and I would love if they came back because they are so much cheaper than four-strokes, it's not happening. The OEMs aren't going to do it, so you can get the fuck over it right now.
Yeah, they just don't make enough money.
No, they don't make enough money, and they're not all going to do it at this point, so it's not going to happen. Like I said, I like two-strokes. I actually want to get a 125 two-smacker here to improve my riding skill, but as far as going back into the pro ranks, it's not going to happen. There you'll have your specialty races, your two-stroke battles at Red Bull Straight Rhythm, you'll have your 125 Dream races, that'll be fine, but the rest of it, no, get over it. It's not happening. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just not going to go into this. I could go on this for hours.
And we don't have hours.
Yes, so I'm not going to get into this safety debate. I get angry, so we're not going to go into
Do you disagree, though, that, or do you agree or disagree that the 450s...
I think 450s are stupid in Supercross. I mean, when you can come to a dead stop, roll on, clutch it a little bit to keep the rear wheel planted, and huck a 75-foot triple... Like, that's just ridiculous.
You literally could
stupid.
Just stop at the base of the triple
yes.
and then be like, okay, cool.
And, you could literally come out, square up on a bull corner, stop at the top of the berm, roll on, and then seat bounce it, and you can get over it. I mean, that's just dumb. Yes. So, yeah, no, I think 450s were probably I've said this a million times. It'll be the last thing I'll say. I think 350 should have been the max on the CC.
Should have been, but
and
the
racing,
AMA didn't know what the fuck they were doing when four strokes came out, so...
Because they got much better at racing with at 350s. I mean, could you imagine Eli Tomac on a 350? I mean, dude.
Absolutely insane. Well, and then Justin Barsha...
Oh, my God, just revving the piss out of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, no.
So, yeah, so that's the thing.
I completely agree.
All right, cool. So that wraps up all the questions from the first week video. So take a look at this commercial from our sponsor, and we'll be back with the questions from last week's video. Do you need custom powder coating? Call or text TLR Coatings today at 269-870-3083 for your free powder coating quote. All right, so now we're back. We have more questions from last week's video. Juan, the Brazilian connection here. We have another question from you. Already made one on the last week video, but anyways, who is the fastest rider of all time?
James Stewart.
Yep. Next question. Here's a good one for you. What do you think Joey Savacci... Oh, wait, sorry. This is from Monster Energy 101. What do you think Joey Savacci does the rest of his career?
Are we just banking this off of him getting the Cowie ride, or just in general not knowing where he's going to go? Because I think depending on where he goes could also change the course of his career.
Okay, so you don't think he's getting the Cowie ride?
I think he's going to get the Cowie ride, but what I'm saying is I don't think he should get the Cowie ride. I think that he needs to go somewhere else. No. Not off results. I mean, I think that he needs a change in his life. I think he needs to get away from Kawasaki, and as much as I hate to say this, I think he needs to leave the Carmichael camp, and he needs to go somewhere else. Not that it's not working for him, but it's kind of like with Cooper Webb. I think he needs to change his scenery. What I think Joey's going to do, I think he's going to be a better 450 rider because he is other than his stupid little mental dumb mistakes where he just has lapses, I think he is one of the smoother guys in the class. I mean, you can really see his natural talent when he gets in the zone and everything's clicking for him. So that's obviously going to help on a 450. I think that when everybody moves up, and if Joey gets on a different track and doesn't go to Cowie, I think he's going to be one of the better guys moving out of the class. It's hard to predict spot-wise. I know we just did with Zacho, so it seems kind of, contradictory, but I think that he could be a consistent top 10 guy, maybe towards the top 5 Supercross-wise, but on winning, stuff like that, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all.
You think he's going to be a top 5 450 guy?
No, I think he could trend towards being a top 5 450 guy. I think next year, he's probably going to be a top 10 guy. But the problem with Joey is that you're never... There's not going to be too many of these 250 kids that I think are going to win championships for a while until Eli and Kenny leave. I think he's going to be better than Zacho because of his style. Like, you got to remember, when we're talking about 250s, it's one thing. But
it was awesome that you could read what I was thinking off my face there.
Oh, okay.
Because that was exactly what I was thinking. Was like, wait a minute, we just said Zach was going to be 8 to 15. Zach has been stomping Joey.
But it's a 450 thing. We know, and I know that we always talk about this, all these guys being better 450 guys, but we know when you transition to the 450 class, it is a style thing. It's a technique thing. It's not just what you've done in your 250 career.
I'm going to put him right in the same realm with Zach. I think he's going to be an 8 to 15 guy. But I don't think he's going to be better than that. I don't think he is.
Well, no, I don't think he's going to be much better than that either. I think that a lot of these 250 guys, other than maybe an Aaron Plessinger, and we get to another person coming up on a Suzuki, because there's a question about it, a lot of these guys aren't going to be successful right away because it's really hard when you're racing Ken Roxon and Eli Tomac and Jason Anderson and all these guys. So no, do I think right away? Hell no. I think that maybe his best finish next year, maybe he gets top 5 one time. Like Zacho may get a top 5 one time. But 8 to 15, I mean, is it really hard to conceive that they're not going to be just as good as Dino and Weston? I mean, those guys are really good, and they've exceeded what a lot of people, well, at least Weston has. But I mean, it's hard to think that they're going to be that much worse than those guys. They're better than Bogle. They're better than Bogle, and we know that they're going to be better than Cooper, unless Coop gets his shit together.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like, but yeah, are Zacho and Joe probably going to be the same.
Okay.
Probably going to be the same for a while.
Okay.
Why? What do you think he's going to do? The same?
No, yeah, I'm an 8 to 15 guy.
Okay.
For at least the first couple of years here.
Okay.
Another one from Monster Energy 101. What's your thoughts on Anderson winning the title in Supercross? I assume he means next year.
No, I think he meant this year. I think what do we actually think? Because we never really gave like expanded that conversation.
Great. Here's my thoughts. Enjoy the one you got, buddy. Next question.
Wait a minute. You don't. What do you mean enjoy the one he got? You don't think he has a shot at all next year? I mean, I know we're projecting pretty far ahead.
Maybe if Kenny and his chick break up and Webb starts banging her out again, and starts talking some shit to Kenny on social media, and Kenny lets it get in his head and tries to take him out like a squidbilly in the corner and takes himself out, yes. Otherwise, no.
Well, you know he's going to be better than Marv.
Dude, yes.
And I think he's going to be better than Baggett.
Yes.
So pretty much we're looking at Ando, Barsha, Kenny, and Eli.
I don't even put Barsha up there yet. Barsha hasn't given me enough to make me think that he can... I mean, he's good. He's back.
Yeah.
Ish. But I'm not putting him in title talk.
Okay.
Yes.
So
maybe if he has another good year next year and
rails
off some win races.
And we see what's going to happen with Outdoors going into Supercross because he's doing good. But okay, so Kenny and Eli, I mean, as much as we both think that Kenny's going to come back and go back to his old ways, we're also talking about two guys that have proven the last couple of years they can't really put it together for Supercross for a full season.
But Eli is trending in a better direction for this with this Outdoors.
We also said he was trending last year. I get what you're saying.
But this year we're actually seeing it.
I think Anderson, he was straight up the best guy. I know that we talked about all these different things, but I think he was the best guy. He deserved it. There's no asterisk next to that, whatever. And I think when we talk about this in December for our Supercross preview, I mean, unless he gets hurt, I'm going to have to look at it real hard as him being one of the favorites just because he was consistent enough. Do I think that he's better than Eli and Kenny? No. He's not better than those guys. Outright, everything checked across the board. No, he's not better than those guys. But once again, we also sat up here and said that Anderson won the championship in a way that is repeatable. Yeah. He won it by being consistent. So I
still don't think he's winning.
Okay.
I don't think he's getting another one, man. I think that was it.
If he does, though, I think we're gonna have to sit up here and we're gonna look stupid because it's like we did look stupid this year.
Won't be the first time I look dumb.
I know, right? All right. Anyways,
what's in this
question?
I don't know. Damn it, the phone locked again. I've only got 22.8 second. Q&A. Who will fill in for HRC next to Kenny?
Oh God, this is a loaded question.
They're not gonna fill anybody in out.
No, he's talking about going forward. I think. Is that or is this?
It says to fill in for HRC next to Kenny. So I would assume they're talking fill in for this year. They're not putting anybody else on that bike. Craig's out. They're done. Regard to discussion of Eli Tomac talent and Zach Osborne. Answer this question. This is from Amir Nematolahali.
It's probably completely wrong.
Amir. Answer this question, please. Has Zach Osborne raced and beat a guy in Kenny's caliber or Dungey or JS?
He's making the comment that you said when you compared Zacho to Eli when we were talking about the championships last week.
Okay.
So I think that's where his question's going. And the question is no.
No, he hasn't beat anybody of that caliber.
He's never beat anybody of that caliber.
Nope. So, yeah. Brett Crump commented, train crash today. How is Hill going to do on the big bore? If you mean outdoors, not much better than he's doing right now. If you're talking indoors, well, you know, he might try this year. Maybe. Or maybe he's just going to sit back, take the paycheck, and say, oh, man, bike's shit.
I think he'll be with a depleted field. Now, keep in mind, he's not racing the rest of the season on the 450. He's doing selected rounds. So maybe that's just every track that's hard-packed. I think he'll be top 10 because the field is depleted, and he's actually going to have some incentive to go out and work his ass off during the week. But Supercross, that's a completely different thing, but we won't get into that. So I think that in the rounds that he does ride, unless one of them is Redbud, I think that he will be top 10 just because Dylan Merriam is the 10th place guy right now. So Hill alone on talent is better than Dylan Merriam. No disrespect.
It's like saying, well, never mind.
I know where you're going with that.
Never mind.
No disrespect, but
with all due respect, you're an idiot.
You suck ass.
Okay, so this one's from Robin Duro. Hi lads, here are some questions. Which track do you currently favor in the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Series?
Let's not do Redbud because that's too easy.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, mine? I've been fortunate enough to go to a lot of these different tracks. Pretty much the only ones I haven't been to is Hangtown, Glen Helen, and Washougal. I would say that for me, it's got to be Millville if we're not doing Redbud because that's too easy for us. Because that's what it's got to do Millville. Just with all the elevation change, you know, the Whoop Monster and stuff. I know that's not really part of the track, but it's part of the ambiance. Being in the valley, you're literally in the middle of nowhere. You're in a hole. The gnarly elevation changes, the dirt, the sand mixed in with the clay spots and stuff where it's super tacky after it rains, you know, the Millville rockers, and just like I said, the lineage that comes along with Millville, not just anything Martin related, just some of the best races that have ever happened in outdoors have come and gone to Millville. So for me, it's got to be Millville. I mean, I know that there's other good tracks, but I don't know. I think it's hard to not say Millville.
I'm in the Wick.
Really?
Yeah, man. I like the sand, dude. It's cool. I like watching people ride it because I don't like riding it. Yeah, pretty much.
Just floating through, waiting the rear end?
Yeah, I'm just, you know, if I go in the sand, I'm like, well, this is dumb, and I fucking leave.
I think this is one of those things that you like it, but you would never want to ride there.
Yeah, but watching it, like watching someone like Tomac or Hurlings or somebody just bomb that is amazing. So yeah, so I'm in on the Wick there, even though I've never been there. Like I haven't been anywhere really, honestly, but Redbud. So
it's probably not. It's not the greatest track for viewing. I'll say that.
Well, yeah, whatever. But dude, the sand.
Oh, I know.
So
and it's not even as deep as it used to be. So it's like, holy crap.
Or we could even put in Vulcan's Ward, dude. Like that's cool. Like I mean, hey, it's got a little more sand to it.
I'm surprised you didn't say Iron Man. I know that it's new and it's only been around for a few years, but
I've heard it's okay, but I've heard it's not great, and I don't really care for it to be real honest. Watching on TV. So, I mean, I would go like a close, one day, I would go like a close second and third here would be like Thunder Valley and Millville.
Okay.
So, and then he's got more parts to this question. Which old track not in use would you bring back? What are your thoughts on it? Okay, well, that's another question. Old track you bring back?
Broome Tioga. I don't know if you've ever seen races from Broome Tioga. It was another one of the tracks in New York. A lot of black dirt, a lot of hard pack spots. But I don't like this cliche saying, but that was one of those tracks where you really saw who the men were, because the roost was literally the size of a fucking baseball. Ugh. And it was gnarly, and I mean, they had some gnarly sections, and they were kind of one of the fierce people to build these, what we see, the new age Supercross style outdoor tracks. They had a ton of booters. They had a gnarly infield triple in the middle that, like, literally back in its time, Stu and RC were the only ones to hit from the inside. And there's a couple other ones like Kenworthy, but Kenworthy's not great because it was in the woods and it was all flat and there was no runoff, and they were the only national ever to cancel because it got so much rain. They were literally standing water on the tops of the faces. There was that much rain. Okay. But I would probably say like Broome Tioga. Steel City's another one, but Broome Tioga, Binghamton, whatever you want to call it, it was one of the good ones in New York.
I would say, what's the track in Ohio there?
Kenworthy was one of the tracks.
No. What was the other? Was it Mid-Ohio? No.
Mid-Ohio was one of them, but that was a long time ago.
There's somewhere down there. There's some Ohio track that they talk about all the time in like the 90s.
Yeah, it could have been Mid-Ohio. There's a lot of tracks that have come and gone.
Yeah.
Mosier Valley used to be one. Steel City in Pennsylvania, which was one of the most recent ones.
What about Gatorback?
Oh, God, no. Fucking hate Gatorback. Gatorback's a blue groove nightmare.
What's the one in Texas?
Freestone?
Freestone.
Freestone was good. It was usually about 115 degrees during the National.
Makes you a man, buddy.
Oh, it did make you a man.
It makes you a man.
It did make you a man, for sure.
Okay, let's move on here. What are your thoughts on if the camera footage was of racing battles further down the field to make it more exciting to watch? Would you consider including unrestricted... Jesus, that's another question.
Fourth question. I mean, I like it. He's got questions.
More battles... further down. They kind of try to show that, especially if there's not a lot going on up front, like they move down the line. But at some point, like, dude, I don't want to watch, I don't even know, like, who. Like, I don't want to watch Stank Dog race somebody for 37th place, to be real honest, because even though they might be, you know, really racing, really racing that slow is not fun to watch. If you want to watch racing that slow, dude, just click on any of my race videos on this channel and you will see racing that slow. It's totally fine.
Thunder Valley was a good example, though, in that first 250 moto when Joey and Cooper were going at it. There was a gnarly battle behind them between J-Mart, A-Mart, Zacho, Plessinger that we didn't miss. I don't know if the guy's exactly referring to that or he's just saying any battle going on. If there's not a battle at the front, I would like you to try to switch around. I know that they have enough cameras where they can try to pinpoint if there's a battle going on the track. Because there's been some times in the past that we've, like, everybody's honed in on Eli or Marv last year when he was out front 20 seconds out. And then there was a gnarly battle going on for 5th, and you're like, yeah, I don't really just want to see Marv and Eli yard everybody. I really want to see some racing. So I think that they need to work on it better. They've done, I will say, they've done better at Supercross at that. They will try to find a battle going on at the track. Like, what was it, that one in Vegas when Weston was coming up on Dino? Like, they pinpointed that for a few laps, and it was only for, like, 7th.
Yep.
So it's like, I would like it if they tried a little bit better, but...
But no matter what, you're never going to see everything anyway, so...
Unless you're there.
And even when you're there, you're not seeing everything, so... okay, would you consider including an unrestricted 250/300 capacity 2-strokes into the 450 4-stroke class, or also 125, 150 capacity in the 250 4-stroke pass?
For privateers, yes.
I mean,
in the 450 class.
Do we have a restriction now?
Yeah, dude, you can't ride a 150 in the 120 in the 250 class, which is the most retarded thing ever. And then you need to. I think they need to allow 252 strokes in the 250 class for a lot of these privateers that can't spend 10 grand on a motor.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, they do it in Australia. They've done it in Canada. Hell, Kevin Benoit won back-to-back championships, and they were like, oh my God, we can't have a 252 stroke. So they literally made it where he had to ride a stock 250 from air boot to exhaust port. He could ride a pipe silencer, but he couldn't do an airbox or air boot mod, airbox mods. He couldn't do carburetor mods other than jetting. He couldn't do reeds. He couldn't do porting. He couldn't do headwork. And he still went out and won, you know, like 10 out of the 12 motos there was, or 10 out of the 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I think for privateers, we need to have this. I mean, we see it in the 450 class, and at that point, it's kind of like with Chris Aldridge, and when Stanky's been doing it, it's kind of like a you know, hero story because we don't see the 2-strokes anymore. But I think for the 250 class, the 125, 150 thing, I mean, there's guys out there that can run that pace. Like, for instance, if you put Zach Osborne on a Husky 150 and made it a factory 150, I'm pretty damn sure as fast as he is, he could still probably get top 10.
Yes.
Or like, not Aaron Plessinger, but J-Mart. J-Mart as small as he is, or A-Mart.
Yep.
But even the 150s, though, these guys got to put so much money into it. I mean, when a factory 250F is making 54 horsepower and a mod 125 is putting out 41, I mean, it's super hard. Stanky did good, but I mean, his best finish was 17th.
Yeah. So
it's like, if you're telling me the 250s and 300s can't ride in the 450 class, which is dumb to me. Like, this CC to CC restriction doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
So if you tell me, hey, a 252 stroke can ride in the 250 class, dude, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. These privateers need to level up a little bit.
Bring back Big Bore Barry.
500s in the 450 class.
500s, buddy.
Dude, kids would hate that. The roofs would hurt so bad.
Yeah, so that's it for questions. So thank you all for submitting those. A couple news and notes here. Number one, Filthy Phil is going to Factory Husky here.
How do you think he does?
Huh?
Do you think he does any better, or do you think it's just pretty much the same?
Ooh.
His starts are going to be better.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because he's got, like, what, 3 starts?
It could be better because those Huskies are yards and yards and yards better than the Suzukis. So it could be better, but...
Yeah, I still think he's going to end up around 7th or 8th.
Yeah. Then you've got Osborne's done.
You want to take a minute to run a eulogy?
You know, this is a real mixed emotion for me because I'm really sad he's out because we were going to make history. But at the same time, I'm really, it's kind of a weight off my shoulders because now if by some miracle J-Mart did beat him.
Miracle! Oh, it was a miracle.
I don't have to listen to you fill my ear with shit about how he got beat by J-Mart. So,
well, I mean, he was already getting beat before he got hurt, so it's fine.
Okay, yeah, well, we were 3 races in. We had a whole season still to go. We were making a comeback. So anyway... so yeah, Osborne is out. There wasn't anything else major, was there?
So okay, so Zacho's out. Is J-Mart pretty much it's clear cut at this point? Because you just had this wild fascination, you know, that Zacho was gonna come back and it was
and only win his 4th title in
I mean, at this point, it was a lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda because he was 24 points down.
Yeah,
and,
well, we'll never know. So we, I mean, we can bench race about it all the time, but whatever.
So now, being that Zach goes out, and J Mart's got 8 on AP. Is it 8? I think it's 8.
Yeah.
8 on AP. How many overalls does J Mart get from here on out?
What do we got?
9 rounds
left. At least 4.
And AP and Amart or Savachi or whoever get the rest?
Well, I think you're going to get... Amart's going to get 1. I think Savachi's going to get 1. I think Cooper Kid is going to get 1. Who did I just list? Savachi.
Wait, you're missing AP.
Yeah, AP is going to probably get 1, so that leaves us 1 more. So, I mean, he get 4 or 5 by the end of the year, more.
So you think it's going to be pretty much boring from here on out?
Yes. If Kenny gets hurt or Eli gets hurt, I'm going to probably quit watching the races. We're going to cancel the show for the rest of the year, and we'll see everybody. We're on to Designations and Monster Cup at that point.
So, by the way, we're on to Designations. We got a long time to go, but I'm going to make a mark of this right now.
Here we go.
I'm going to make a mark of this right now. Jeffrey Hurlings is going to win both motos. I'm just going to stamp this. I'm going to say it in every show.
No one's surprised by this.
I'm gonna. Well, I mean, there's probably. I mean, I think quite a few of our fans probably might because of the American pride. I know we got some people from a different country, but I'll just say it right now. I hate to say it, people. Like Tomac and Kenny, unless Kenny's 100%, we ain't beating Jeffrey Hurlings.
Yeah.
Which I think we're gonna have to. At some point, we're gonna do the whole show on this. We're a long ways away, but
maybe when Hurlings comes over to Dilla to try to lay a smackdown on us again. Until Kenny fucking bends him over and gives him the berries at Dilla because Kenny's like, yo, bro, I beat you before, I'll beat you again. Just like the little kid you are.
How sad will it be that if Tomac, which more than likely he's going to win this championship, and then he just beats Kenny for the rest of the year and Kenny really never gets it together, and then we come out of X of Nations and Kenny just whoops all of them? Like, just, yeah, I'm going to be like, awesome. I don't know what just happened right now.
Absolutely awesome.
Because, like, as an American, like, okay, Kenny's ours now. Like, Kenny, we've imported him in. He's American. Like, he's a German-American, but he's American. If Kenny wins MX of Nations, even if we win the overall, which I think we're going to, is that a win for us? Like, fuck you, Germany. Like, we don't care about you?
A little bit.
If we have any Germans watching the show, I apologize.
We do.
So, when Kenny wins, do we just, like, yeah, like, when Puerto Rico wins?
Yeah, because Puerto Rico wins shit all the time.
Hey, man, think about it. We could have a good Puerto Rican team this year. I mean, we could have Amart, Savachi, and Plessinger.
Sure.
Or, you know, Baggett and Anderson and Plessinger or whoever.
Something. So anyway, okay, cool. So this has been a special edition of the Moto Aftermath Show, brought to you by TLR Coatings. Make sure to check them out. We're on a beach. It's time to get some margs.
We're on to High Point.
We're on to High Point.
Who wins High Point?
Kenny and J Mart.
2 Hondas up top.
Yep.
Great.
Which is going to bode well, although it's going to drive that price of that 19 Works Edition up for me. But
yeah, Travis thinks he's getting a Works Edition Honda 450 next year, guys.
Keep an eye on the channel here.
Hey, man, maybe he'll
review.
I'm going to do a PayPal for him.
A what?
A PayPal. They'll just put money into your account.
Start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe page.
GoFundMe for my 2019. Okay, sure. All right, great. All right, cool. Well, this has been another episode of the show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody next week for a High Point wrap-up.